Alright guys, it's that time of the week and we are back for some championship score predictions. Some massive games coming up this week, which I want to get your predictions for in the comments down below. We really are into the business end of the season and with so much to play for with the automatic promotion spots, the playoffs and the relegation battle as well. All of these games have something on the line at either end of the table. And so without any further ado, let's jump in. And starting out with the big game on Friday night, it's West Brom going up against Coventry. This game having quite the implications for the race for the top six. If Coventry do manage to win this one, they'll be just 2 points behind West Brom in the race for the playoffs. Now, I obviously got to watch Coventry in a bit more detail over the weekend as North End went away there and managed to walk away with a 3-0 victory. Not the finest of showings from Coventry. The game got away from them quite early on and they never quite recovered from that. Also, losing Sakamoto to a season-ending injury is quite the blow for them. That Coventry squad has already been hit with quite the injury list in recent weeks, which definitely hasn't helped. With that being said, and while Cov were by no means at their best against Preston, it is worth stressing that that was their first home defeat since October, and looking into the form book of late, it's still just their second loss in their last 15 league matches, and with an opportunity here to close the gap towards West Brom, you'd imagine they'd be right up for this one, especially after bouncing back in emphatic style in the cup over midweek as well. But with all that being said, West Brom at home have been so strong this season. They've come through some tricky away matches recently with decent points against Ipswich and Hull City, and obviously that good win away at Plymouth as well. Home form's been the real bread and butter for West Brom so far this season. They've got 6 remaining matches at the Hawthorns between now and the end of the campaign, and I honestly wouldn't be that surprised if they won all 6 of those matches. Just with some of the injuries that Cov have at the moment, I think it is the Baggies who I'm favouring in this one. Score prediction for me, I'm going to go 2-1 to West Brom, which would be a big result for them. Bristol City versus Cardiff next up. Don't think there'll be all too much in this one. There always tends to be a little bit of spice between these two sides, but both on 44 points right now, and over these past few months I think have both been the epitome of inconsistency really. Bristol City obviously had that tremendous result against Southampton, but then have followed it up with back-to-back losses against QPR and Sheffield Wednesday. Cardiff have struggled to put together much of a run of late, but a good win for them last time against Stoke City. The issue for Cardiff has been building on the back of good results. The last time they put together back-to-back wins in the league, you're going all the way back to October, so it's been quite a while. Do see this one being quite tight, and a draw wouldn't surprise me. Just got a gut feeling that this may be one of the occasions where Bristol City do step up. I think that when they're fully at it, they're capable of being quite a decent side. It's just, you never know quite which version of them is going to show up. Like I say, draw wouldn't surprise me here. Gut feeling says Bristol City may just swing it 1-0. Next up then to Huddersfield up against Leeds, expecting a really good battle between these two sides. Huddersfield, who got a good result last time against Watford, still got quite a few sides breathing down their necks below them, but keeping their head above water right now. It was Danny Ward with that brace that made the difference against Watford, and do you know what? I think they'll make a game of this one, certainly more so than they did away at Ellen Road, where Leeds absolutely wiped the floor with them. I think 4-1 in the reverse fixture. Leeds are on an absolutely fantastic winning run right now. 9 consecutive wins for Daniel Farke's men. It was a tremendous result against Leicester last time out. It is worth flagging up that Leeds are in action tonight in the cup against Chelsea, and so there is the potential that Leeds could be a little bit jaded coming into this fixture against Huddersfield, which I think they definitely have to take some confidence from the home side. On the balance of probabilities, you'd probably favour Leeds for winning this one, but I've just got something in the back of my mind that says, on a few occasions this season where Leeds have had a 3-game week and they've then gone into quite a tough away fixture, they've looked a little bit off the pace. They have put that sort of stuff behind them of late on this winning run, but I'm certainly not discounting Huddersfield from causing an upset here. Maybe I'm losing my marbles a little bit, but do you know what? I'm going to back Huddersfield to get a point from this one, with maybe Leeds being a little bit jaded from the cup. Score prediction, I'm going to go for a 1-1 between these two. Next up we go to St Andrews for Birmingham up against Southampton. Also worth flagging up that the Saints are in action in midweek up against Liverpool in the cup, and so in a similar line of thinking to Leeds, could potentially be a little bit jaded for this fixture, depending on how seriously Russ Martin takes that fixture. Blues, while they have had their struggles on the road of late, have been pretty consistent at picking up results at home. 4 unbeaten now at St Andrews. That has been quite important in keeping their head above water in this relegation battle. While there has been an uplift in their overall form recently, it's still just a 3-point gap between themselves and the bottom 3, so need to continue picking up those points, especially in home games like this against the Southampton side, who, while they have been flying high in the Championship, have now lost 3 of their last 4 matches. There's no denying that the Saints are in a rut right now, and I mean, we spoke about it on yesterday's video. Their upcoming fixture list is pretty tough as well. In usual circumstances, I'd probably be back in Southampton in this fixture, but I've just got a feeling Blues could scrape something from it. Score prediction here, I'm going to go for a 1-1-er. Next up we go to Leicester up against QPR, 2 sides fighting for very different things right now, and honestly I think quite a tough fixture to call. We spoke about QPR's game against Rotherham over the weekend being a must-win game for Martí Cifuentes' side, and in the end they got that result. The reason I stressed the importance of that game for QPR was because of their upcoming fixtures. The month of March in particular does look quite tricky for QPR. They've got upcoming games against Leicester, West Brom, Middlesbrough, Sunderland and Birmingham for the month. You could make an argument that this is a decent time to be playing Enzo Maresca's side. They've lost back-to-back matches, but it's worth flagging up the last time they lost back-to-back matches in the Championship, they then went on a 10-game unbeaten streak. Generally speaking, QPR have been decent value for money of late. They've won 3 of their last 5 matches and they've definitely picked things up on the road. But I've got a feeling this may be a professional job by Enzo Maresca's side. I'm going to go with a 2-0 home victory there. Next up we go to the Den for Millwall up against Watford, and boy did Millwall need that result last time. They got over the line against Southampton and Neil Harris managed to have an instant impact upon his return to the club. The big challenge for him now until the end of the season is, can he turn around the home form? Because if Millwall are going to keep their head above water this season, that absolutely has to be a change instilled in this team from now until the end of the campaign. Only 4 wins from their 17 home matches so far this season. Only Rotherham have a worse record in the league than that when it comes to home matches, but do you know what? I think this is a decent opportunity for them to do so. They're going up against a Watford side who have been coasting of late. I think that would be a fair way to describe them. There have been a few murmurings over the future of Valérien Ismaël and the increased scrutiny at the club that he's now under. That comes on the back of Watford only winning 2 of their last 11 matches, and those 2 wins, by the way, coming against QPR and Rotherham. There's still enough quality in that Watford squad where they can turn things on and definitely perhaps take advantage of a Millwall home record that has been really shoddy this season. But perhaps with Harris back there now, the crowd a little bit more up for it and properly behind the boss. Dare I say it, I think Millwall could make it back-to-back wins. Score prediction here, I'm going to go 2-1 Millwall, which would be massive for them. Next then to Carrow Road for Norwich up against Sunderland. Does seem to be a decent time to play the Black Cats. It's 3 defeats on the bounce and they're 8 points off the pace behind 6th place in the Championship. Is that too big of a margin to make up with the games remaining? I think it might be, especially when you look at Sunderland's upcoming fixtures. The next 3 games being against Norwich, Leicester and then Southampton. If they don't come out of those 3 games with a healthy points return, they'll be nowhere near the top 6 chase come the end of March. For Norwich, you have to admit the results have been consistent recently. It was a draw against Blackburn last time, but only 1 defeat now from their last 9 matches, and that being against a very good Leeds United squad. I do think both sides will hit the back of the net in this one, but I think it has to be Norwich who I give the edge to. Score prediction here, going to go 2-1 Norwich at home. After that for Plymouth up against Ipswich, it was a much needed win for Plymouth over the weekend, coming off the back of a really tough run of fixtures. What a performance that was away at Middlesbrough. Arguably some of the best stuff we've seen from Plymouth all season. A 2-0 win, and they'll certainly need that sort of momentum carried over into this game against Ipswich, who have found their flow once again. The Tractor Boys been in fine goal scoring form themselves of late, having scored 13 goals now in their last 4 matches. Still a vulnerability every now and again defensively, and I think that Plymouth can certainly play upon those things, especially at home park where they've been quite good at hitting the back of the net. I remember the reverse fixture earlier on in the season between these two, and it was an absolute cracker of a match. Plymouth actually maybe worthy of a point in their performance in that game, but Ipswich just got over the line with that extra firepower, and dare I say it, I wouldn't be surprised if this game heads in a similar direction. Score prediction for me, I think it'll be very open. I'm going to go 3-2 Ipswich on the road though. Next up then to Deep Delve for Preston up against Hull, and this arguably being North End's biggest game of the season so far. Win this game against the Tigers and we'll go level on points with them, albeit Hull do have a far superior goal difference. Expecting a thoroughly entertaining game at Deep Delve, both sides on a good run of form right now. Preston really turned things around in recent weeks. It's now 6 games unbeaten in the Championship, only Leeds can boast a longer unbeaten run than that. The result and performance against Coventry last time out was absolutely sublime. We've spoken about it on the channel a few times recently, but those combinations we're getting at the moment between Emil Rees, Mads Frokjar and Will Keane, it's absolutely tremendous. The way in which Emil Rees has returned from this ACL injury has been nothing short of spectacular. He's been absolutely reborn. But for as much as I can talk up Preston, I'm expecting a really tough game in this one against a Hull side where it's really starting to feel like a lot of their January signings are starting to click together, that chemistry starting to build between them. In the reverse fixture earlier on in the season between these two, it was quite a tight match. Ultimately, Jaden Philogene made the difference for Hull with an individual moment of magic, and I wouldn't put it past him or any one of those attackers from doing the same in this game. But with both sides on a good bit of form right now, I think I'm edging towards a draw in this one. Score prediction here, I'm going to go for a 1-1er. There are some huge implications riding on this next fixture between Sheffield Wednesday and Rotherham. It's 23rd going up against 24th, but particularly for Sheffield Wednesday, the motivation coming into this one has to be win this game and they go potentially level on points with both Stoke and QPR, and they could be just a point below Millwall if results also go their way. The form book certainly backs Sheffield Wednesday coming into this one. They have won 3 of their last 4 matches, was a good result for them last time against Bristol City, and going up against the Rotherham side, who are badly out of form right now. That's been the case for most of the season, but it is 6 consecutive defeats for the Millers, and worth flagging up, they're currently projected to pick up just 26 points this season, which would be the joint 2nd lowest tally in Championship history. 23 points is a record low for the Championship. Coincidentally, that is a record that's currently held by Rotherham. They won't want to break that this season. But with that extra bit of competitiveness and I think quality that Wednesday have in their squad right now, I'm going to back the away side for all 3 points here. Score prediction for me, I'm going to go 2-0 Wednesday. Next up we head to Stoke up against Middlesbrough, and boy could Stoke do with all 3 points in this one. They've lost 6 of their last 7 matches. The pressure is really cranking up on Schumacher, and do you know what? There's a very good chance that if Stoke don't win this game or at least get the point, there's a very good chance that could be the end of Schumacher at Stoke. It seemed like he, has only just walked in through the door, but he's not been able to lift for results, and with the club in such a precarious position in the bottom 3 right now, you have the feeling that that board may panic and just make a snap decision, maybe looking to get someone in on a short-term basis until the end of the season to try and lift things. Now, they are going up against the Middlesbrough side, who have been vastly inconsistent for the majority of this season, and do you know what? I wouldn't rule out Stoke getting something from this game. Funnily enough, if Stoke do win this one, they'll only be 6 points behind Middlesbrough, which really puts into perspective how much Borough's form has dropped off of late. Obviously, they had that tremendous away performance and result against Leicester, but then followed it up with a really shoddy showing against Plymouth and lost that one 2-0. We've said it a few times, but Borough have tended to be a little bit more adventurous on the road in terms of performances and the amount of goals they tend to score. With that being said, both teams have been quite wasteful this year. They each rank in the top 3 for XG underperformance. Score prediction in this one, I think I'm just swaying towards Middlesbrough, but even in that, I'm not that confident in doing so. 2-1 Borough, I'm saying for this game. That one really could go either way. Then to finish the weekend off with Swansea up against Blackburn. Both sides could do with all 3 points in this game. They're level on points at the moment with each other, 39 each. That's 4 points above the relegation zone. So a little bit of a buffer between themselves and the bottom 3. but still quite a few more points needed from now until the end of the season to guarantee their survival. For Swansea, it was a massive result for them last time away at Sunderland. What's been Swansea's Achilles heel for a lot of the games they've lost recently is how many goals they've conceded early on, but they flipped the script in that one, got 2 goals in the first half themselves, Ronald with a brace. If they can get off to a fast start in this game, you'd maybe back them for all 3 points. With that being said, Rovers have been a lot more solid of late under John Eustace. It's 3 consecutive draws now for them. Decent point against Norwich last time, and it does feel like slow and steady progress at the moment, which I think a lot of people probably expected with a manager like Eustace going into Rovers. Score prediction for me in this game, I think I am sitting on the fence for it. 1-1 I'm going. But there we have it, guys. That will wrap it up for today's video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure to get all your score predictions in the comments down below, and I'll see you all in the next one.